The reason I ask the question is because, like I mentioned, I want you to, as we're talking, to think about your own business, whether it's in place now or something you think you might want to do, or a little bit of both, so that this can be personalized for you. The dream big is forgetting about all the doubts that come into play, making a list for yourself, something that's detailed of what it is that you want. But the key is visualizing it. I keep going back to the international, that just stuck in my head. So international, okay, it's a big world. So does that mean Africa? Does that mean Europe? Does that mean Asia? Does that where exactly does that mean, or does that mean specific countries? I'm not asking you to have to answer that now, but it's thinking large so that you can focus on international. But what does that mean? What does that look like? So you can see it, and then all the negatives that start coming in, like, oh, I said Europe, but I'm not really sure because I don't know anybody over there yet. But plus, with you and I keep changing. All the negative starts coming into your mind. Once you start thinking something positive, put that aside and just brainstorm. Get your list, start just thinking, what would this look like if money wasn't an object? We didn't need sister right here quite yet. Money was not an object. You know, the world is just completely open to you. Forget all the negatives that come into mind. If the world is open to you, what does your business look like? You're in a home office right now, but you want to expand. You want to actually have employees that are working with you. You want to be nationwide or several branches or franchises. Whatever it is, what exactly does that look like? Think real big. Again, forget anything negative. That you deal with a little bit later. Forget anything negative. You're being completely positive and it's working. As you take a step, everything, all the doors, all the windows are opening for you. Everything you're touching is just turning to gold. So think big. That's the think big part on that. Once you do, and stop me if you all have any questions as I'm talking. But
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Once you're doing what you do, for instance, the music publishing, or I'll say myself, I'm a professional opinionist, meaning I want people, they always seek my opinion, but my discomfort is now sharing with them a charge, a cost for that information that I've been giving for years for free. How do you move yourself towards charging for something that you've been,
okay,
it's a gift, it's a skill, but you've been doing it for friends and family, and you've moved towards a point that I need to start charging for this.
It's a gift and it's a skill, but it becomes an expertise. You don't go to the surgeon and be like, you've been doing this a long time. Right. And my friends told me you were good, so you know, they have a set price, the insurance company, whatever. It's a gift and it's a skill because that's part of your passion, you've been doing it, but that becomes your expertise. Where if you had training, you know, that you've gone through, you got your degrees or whatever it is that you've learned while you're going through this, that still becomes your expertise. As far as how to figure out what to, it's two things. How to figure out what to charge is one thing. Being comfortable with charging it is another. The comfort part is going to come in time, and also with necessity. That's part of being the businesswoman or businessman, because you are in business and you have to treat it as such. As far as figuring out what to charge, that's going to depend on your industry. So again, I was kind of joking with the networking, but really and truly, when we finish here, do network with each other and with me, because that's how you get to know who's doing different things, what's available. I hadn't thought about, you know, the publishing music kind of what you're saying. That's good. You never know who might need that. So it's networking within your industry. Again, thinking outside the box for who might need this, who's already doing it. Where can I go in to offer, you know, my services? Even when you're starting out, to kind of ask, so what's your budget? Doing a proposal, this is what I offer. Don't put a number on it yet. Once they're all like, ooh, I need this. Great, so what's your budget for coaching for such and such? And they might say, I only have 5,000. Well, that was my number, 5,000. I mean, you have to, now they might say $50 or don't have anything. You have to figure that out for yourself. So I saw you just one second. For a numbers perspective, if you're going into your own business, if you're already working full-time, realistically for living, you need to look at what you were making and what you can afford, how much you need to have in order to get by, to make sure you pay all the bills comfortably you can meet, and you're not going into debt trying to do this business. So you need to know, in all honesty, what that is, first and foremost, and that helps to determine what you can charge, what you should charge, because you got to pay your bills. Now, keeping in mind, one client doesn't necessarily have to cover all your monthly bills, but depending on what your business is, maybe they do. that, you know, that's gonna differ for everybody. But that realistically figuring out how much you need to make per month and figuring out per service what's realistic, especially based on the industry. And then the comfort, that just comes in time. But keep knowing that you are selling and offering your expertise, and it becomes an investment. I don't even like to use the word my fee is, your investment for me coaching you is blah, 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 is actually what I say.
Yeah, I just want to suggest that you benchmark others who do that professionally, just to get an idea of a range that is reasonable.
And I was thinking like you, if you have training and you become certified or whatever, then you don't have a problem charging. Because you have become an expert and you've trained for that. And so, and I like the way you worded, so, you know, what was your budget for that? This is what I do. Pick what you can afford.
And depending on what it is, you may have, this may be what you offer, but maybe you've got a couple packages, a couple plans for people that help. It depends on what it is, you know, what it is that you're doing, but definitely, again, that's the networking, is the benchmarking, figuring out who's in your market, who's doing what, are they doing it well or not, checking on people's websites. Some people put money on there, some don't, depending on, you know, what it is, but definitely once you're already licensed, credentialed, you've got that baseline, you know, or the extra, you know, that's how you can help to set. Are there any questions? Okay. So for the thinking big, I said to making a list, brainstorming with yourself, forgetting all of the negatives that come into your mind, because they will, but put them right out of your mind as soon as they come back in, because we're being positive. Everything that you're doing is working. We're thinking very positive on this one. The next thing is the focus small, and those are the detail parts of it. You want to make sure that you're doing all of the details. I had one lady I was talking with and considering coaching. She wanted to have basically a personal taxi service in, I think, like the Ann Arbor area. Because the school there, you know, obviously the winters are kind of bad. So she would go and pick people up from home, take them to work and back. She's going to do this in her own car. Okay, that's fine. She hadn't thought about, so when it snows, or if you're running late, what happens with that? If something happens with your car, since you're the only one, if these people decide not to do this, what about the insurance? How much is this going to cost? You know, she hadn't thought through all of those things, which are kind of important, especially, I mean, we're in Michigan, the weather is completely unpredictable. But if you set a contract to do this with this person, you're expected to be there. And then even that if you need to back out or if you're not available, what happens? So it's thinking of all the positive, because we always want to say, oh, this is going to work. When you get to the detail part, this is when the negative needs to come in, because that will help you to prepare so you can set your business up for the what ifs that come in. There's always going to be something unexpected that occurs, whether it's a financial or it's just somebody. You were expecting somebody to do X and they didn't come through on that, or you have a business partner and they thought they knew X, Y, and Z, but they don't. So you have to plan for that. So that's when the negative comes in, but you're using it. It's a barrier, but you're learning how to work your way through that barrier actually before it becomes something that could hurt you. If you can identify it and plan ahead for it, you can figure out how to move through it, or you can learn how to move around it actually. So those are a couple of things. Let me make sure my time in my notes to make sure.